Hi, everyone. I'm Chris Confessore, Music Director of your Brevard Symphony Orchestra, here with an online preview of the first concert in our Summer Evenings series. This concert features the Brevard Symphony Orchestra Woodwind Quintet. The concert takes place at Suntree United Methodist Church, which has been our Summer Evenings venue for the last couple of summers. We thank our friends at Suntree United Methodist for hosting. The concert date is Saturday, June 18th, and these concerts begin at 7 o'clock p.m. The tickets are single tickets are $25. It's general admission seating. If you choose to subscribe to all three concerts in the Summer Evening series, you can save 20%. So that would be three concerts for a total of $60. And you can see information at the bottom of the screen on where to go, brevardsymphony.com, to get specific info about tickets for the Brevard Symphony Orchestra's Summer Evening series. So since we're here to talk about this program with the Woodwind Quintet, I've invited two members of that ensemble to join us for this little chat, and we'd like to welcome them at this time. Please welcome Christina Applegren, the BSO's principal flutist, and Keith Coons, the BSO's principal clarinetist. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Woodwind Quintet. Now, I do know what that is, but I'm going to pretend that I don't. So, what are the instruments that make up a Woodwind Quintet, and how did this ensemble come to be?
This ensemble is sometimes called a wind quintet because it includes flute, oboe, clarinet, bassoon, which are all members of the woodwind family, but it also includes a French horn, which is specifically not a member of the woodwind family, but it's included in the standard wind quintet. This ensemble is very interesting to listen to, very interesting to play in, because every instrument has its unique tone quality. And so composers can use all this mix of different tone qualities to combine instruments or set them up in opposition to each other. It's a fascinating tapestry of sound quality.
That's what also makes it so challenging to play in, is because all of us produce sounds in different ways. And so it makes it extra challenging when you're talking about blending. You have to really listen when are you part of the wind choir, so that makes it a challenge as well to play in.
Yeah, that's true. You know, a couple years ago, we had a brass quintet on this series, and we've had, string quartet. But the wind quintet is unique because blend is not really part of the mix, right? I mean, it's the unique sound of each individual instrument, and as Keith says, throwing in the brass instrument that gives it a far greater range of colors. And it's a great challenge. I think a fun challenge for composers to write for it. And so Keith or Tina, can one of you tell us who were some of the earliest composers of music for wind quintet? Who in the world decided that this would be a good idea to get this collection of instruments together?
This ensemble, this collection of instruments, goes back more than 200 years. And one of the earliest composers was Cambini, who put this together. And then in the early years of the 19th century, it was kind of a golden age of the wind quintet. And composers like Reitke and Danzi wrote dozens and dozens of wind quintets, and audiences just ate this up.
Yeah, I remember Danzi. I was trying to remember who the other guy was. Reitke, that's the one. Yeah, yeah. Well, and then in more recent times, from the middle part of the 20th century into the new century, lots of composers have embraced this ensemble, and you have some some incredibly well-known composers who have written for the ensemble, as well as some composers who are still living, still writing, and maybe less familiar. And we have some of all of the above on your program. So one of the first pieces I'd love to talk about is the Quintet by Carl Nielsen. Great Danish composer. We've played at least one of his symphonies before, and he loved the wind instruments, didn't he?
Right. Yes, it's a big tradition in Denmark, the wind playing, and he's a Danish composer, as you mentioned. This piece was written specifically for an ensemble, the Danish Woodwind Quintet, as a lot of the works on this program were composed for specific ensembles. And one of the interesting things about the Nielsen is that he tried to, or so he says in his notes, he tried to depict the personality of each of those players in this piece. So I think you'll find that really funny. There's some funny places where, he said the bassoon player was always interrupting, and you'll hear that from time to time. And he tried to depict the very specific personalities of the Danish Woodwind Quintet. So
that's funny. Wow. And then we also have a piece by Eric Awazen. He's an American composer. I think he's maybe still on the faculty at Juilliard. I know he had been for many years. I met him once. I did a premiere of a song cycle of his with the Alabama Symphony probably 15 years ago. I don't think I've ever met a composer who is a nicer person, just a great personality. And so you're playing a Woodwind Quintet by Eric Awazen. Keith, you want to tell us a little bit about that piece?
Sure. As far as I know, he's still in the faculty at Juilliard.
Mm-hmm.
And he was born in Ohio and spent a lot of his early time in the eastern part of the country. But then when he went out west, he got inspired by some of the scenery that he saw. So this particular piece, it takes us to Colorado. It's entitled Roaring Fork, which is the name of the river that goes through the Aspen, Colorado Valley. And the first movement is all bubbly and excited, that reflects the whitewater rapids of that river. The second movement is entitled Columbine's Snowmass Lake. And the scene here is a high glacial lake with these incredible mountain peaks all around, and the beautiful white and lavender flowers, the columbines, the state flower of Colorado. And so we have the peaceful nature of the lake, but also the majesty of the peaks. The third movement is called Buckskin Pass, and it's all rhythmic and boisterous, like we're going through a mountain pass.
So we don't have any video of the BSO's Wind Quintet performing, but we wanted to share an excerpt of some of the music that our friends will hear when they come to your concert. So we have a video excerpt from the second movement of this piece by Eric Awazen. And Keith, you said, I forget the name of the quintet that's performing it. Quintet of the Americas, is that right?
I believe so.
And is that the group he wrote the piece for?
He wrote it for the Borealis Quintet.
Oh, okay. So anyway, this is just an excerpt from a performance of this piece. This is the second movement of Eric Awazen's Roaring Fork. Okay, well, that's terrific, and I know everybody's going to want to hear the entire piece. Lots of interesting colors throughout, and it's going to make a great addition to this program. So, how did you all decide on adding this Oasen piece to the program?
Well, this Oasen piece, I'm so glad. I forget who brought it originally to the group, but as soon as we played through that, this became kind of the centerpiece that we built the whole program around. It's really a fantastic work. I was not familiar with it. I knew some of Oasen's music, but I didn't know this piece. It's just terrific. People are going to love it.
Oh, that's great. So we also have a piece to open the program. You're playing a work by Valerie Coleman, whose music the BSO played earlier this past season, back in January. Tell us about this piece.
Yes, Valerie Coleman is a flutist herself, a wonderful composer, and a member of a quintet called the Imani Winds. They've won many prizes in chamber music compositions. Anyway, she's a terrific composer, as our audience knows when they heard the 7 o'clock shout piece. This short work opens the program. It's called Umoja, and that translates into the first night of Kwanzaa.
Oh, okay. So, Keith, you told us what the instruments were that make up the wind quintet. Can you tell us who the other 3 performers who will be on this concert along with you and Christina are?
Yes, indeed. I am honored to be playing with my fellow BSO principal players, and that includes Laura McPherson, oboe, Julie Fox, bassoon, and Ben Leeser on horn. In our normal orchestra seating setup, we're all pointed towards the front. So I normally look at the back of Christina's head, but now in a quintet setting, we get to sit in a circle. So it's a little more collegial.
That's great. So is there a standard setup for the wind quintet, or is there variation in how different groups set up?
There seems to be
different variations.
Yeah, slight
So
variations.
what's our setup?
From the audience standpoint, we have the flute on the left front, and then oboe. That's pretty standard. And then we have bassoon in the back of the circle. And then on the right side back is Ben playing horn, and myself on the right side front.
So you get to face Christina now instead of look at the
Yeah.
back of her head. That's much better. Good. Well, good. And bassoon center stage as it should be. That's awesome. So, Christina, there's another piece. I'm wondering if you could tell us about music by Julio Medaglia. I don't know this
Yes.
composer.
Right.
What can you tell us about his
Well,
music?
Julio Medaglia, he's a Brazilian composer. He's now in his 80s. And actually, he studied conducting at the Hochschule in Germany. But when I first got the part for this piece, we're playing the first movement, which is a tango, and it's called the Black Porsche. So there's a little flute solo, and it was written in 2 lines. The bottom line said original part, and above that it said optional flute solo provided by the Berlin Philharmonic Wind Quintet. So I said, well, I know the flute player in the Berlin Philharmonic Wind Quintet. I'll write him and ask him. His name is Michael Hasel. And I wrote to him, and I got a really interesting reply. He said, I've never played from a printed part. This was written for us, and I've only played it from the manuscript. And in the manuscript, it had like an outline of a solo, but he said, I improvised it. So he said, someone must have transcribed my improvisation into what's now the printed part. And he said, well, either play the original or play my solo. He said, or maybe you want to improvise one of your own. So, well, since my improv skills on a scale of 1 to 10 are about a 2.6, I'll be playing Michael Hasel's solo.
Oh, that's great. I listened to some of that piece when I was putting the program page together, and it's terrific. I can't wait to hear you all play it.
It's great. Yeah. I can't imagine improvising something like that.
Right. Yeah. Wow. Well, great. It's going to be a beautiful program. We also have music on the program by Maurice Ravel and George Gershwin and Johann Strauss Jr. So lots of variety and a unique opportunity to hear this very unique collection of instruments known as the Wind Quintet. Thank you, Christina and Keith, for joining us and telling us more about it. And I'm assuming you guys will speak to the audience during the concert, so we'll learn more when we're there.
Thank you so much.
Good. Thank you.
We're going to have a great time playing this concert.
Excellent. Thank you both. So just to recap, this is the BSO Woodwind Quintet. The concert will take place on Saturday, June 18th at 7 p.m. at Suntree United Methodist Church in Melbourne, Vieira area. It's the opening concert on our summer evening series. Very soon thereafter, the BSO will perform its annual Independence Day concert, Symphony Under the Stars. That is on July 4th at 8 o'clock p.m. at Cocoa Riverfront Park there in Cocoa Village. It's free to attend the concert. Music starts at 8 o'clock, and around 9:15 there's a fantastic fireworks show, so you don't want to miss that. As I said, that concert is free. We do have a VIP event that includes a barbecue dinner, reserved parking, and reserved seating. And if you'd like more information about either the concert itself or the VIP pre-concert barbecue, you can visit the website you see here at the bottom of the screen, brevardsymphony.com/July 4. The other 2 concerts on our summer evening series coming up will be Saturday, July 16th, 7 o'clock p.m., a return performance by our fabulous friends Nova Baroque. That's the ensemble that plays classics from the Italian Baroque era, and they perform in costumes with powdered wigs and elaborate costumes. Really great. And then to close out the series on August 13th, we have Symphonic Strings. That is a small string orchestra that I'll conduct, and we have music by Grieg and Tchaikovsky and our friend Sunhee Newbold, as well as many others. So Thank you for joining us for this, and we look forward to seeing you at these upcoming concerts by the musicians of your Brevard Symphony Orchestra.